Hello everybody, hello, and welcome. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. I'm thrilled you could join us this Wednesday evening. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern for those who might be mountain challenged. I'm really happy you could spend some of your Wednesday evening with us talking about fish. That's what we do here. If you were here for the barbecue channel, well, you're in the wrong place. But if you were here for the Aquarium Fish channel, then welcome. I guess you could barbecue fish and have the best of both worlds. Anyway, we're going to start with our shipping report, and then I'm going to tell you a couple things. First, we're going to start with our giveaway, the details about that. Then I'm going to tell you about my trip to Seattle to speak at the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society and some other stuff that's been going on here at Dan's Fish over the last week. And then we'll get to your questions and comments and just geek out and discuss these amazing little gems that swim around in our aquariums. So let's start with the shipping report. It's a good one. Last week we were at 99.01% success, shipping fish alive and thriving to our customers. We are now at 99.03% success, meaning we have improved by 0.02%. I joked around with the crew today that, hey, we're improving. We improved more while I was gone than we usually do, so maybe I should just take off more often. They're like, yeah, we support that. It's amazing what happens when the boss isn't around. Everything goes well. So anyway, what that means for those that might be joining us is that 99.03% of the fish that we have sent out to customers in the last 12 months rolling have arrived alive and in good shape for the customer, as reported by our customer base. So that's what that number means. So it's going really well. I'm very excited. I'm trying not to get too cocky because the moment I do, things will come crashing down again, but we're doing a darn good job. We're doing great. So we're getting those fish out alive and thriving for our customers. Now, that being said, it's pretty easy right now because the weather's been awesome. Awesome. In fact, today is the first day since it got warm this summer that we sent out a heat pack. We sent out our first heat pack today to a place called, I believe it's called Mountain Colony, California, I believe. Somewhere up in the mountains of Northern California. The low was 40 degrees and the high, I believe, was in the 50s. So I was like, yep, that one needs a heat pack. But the weather's been pretty darn good, so that does make the shipping easier. So we can't take all the credit. Mother Nature has been helping out. So Mother Nature, if you're listening, please continue. We appreciate it. All right, with that, let's get to the giveaway. So the giveaway today is for this fish, or this fish, or this fish, or this fish, or any fish on the website, because it is a $100 gift certificate donated by a generous anonymous supporter of this channel who has donated several of these $100 gift certificates anonymously over the years. You know who you are. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. That support is, I don't know, not only does it give us the warm fuzzies, but also it helps out just, financially. So thank you so much for your generous support. So if you would like to win a $100 gift certificate to dansfish.com for anything there, then enter hashtag thanks in the chat. Hashtag THANKS, no spaces, caps don't matter, to thank our anonymous donor for their generosity. Hashtag THANKS, no spaces, caps don't matter. And if you are a member of the channel, you are 4 times more likely to win the drawing. If you're a regular, if you come here all the time, you are 2 times more likely than anyone else to win the drawing. So we're trying to thank people that have been supporting us long term by giving them just a slight edge. Now, that being said, last week someone won who doesn't have any of those perks, so it can still happen. By the way, speaking of last week we gave away a lumpy Congo spotted puffer, and we did the last health check right before we sent it, and we found a few worms in it. So we're going to need to take some time to get that puffer all healthy again. I mean, it's healthy, but to get it treat the worms before we can send it out. So the winner decided, yeah, instead of that, I'll just take something else. So they got something else. So that lumpy puffer might be available for another live stream giveaway in a couple weeks once it's been through treatment. So sorry to that viewer who won last week. I wish I could have sent the puffer to you, but when we find a problem like that, we want to take care of it before we send it out. So anyway, that's how that went down. So maybe someone else will win that puffer. I don't know. Okay, let's see here. With that, let me show you, since we were just talking about what you could get with your $100 gift certificate, some neat new things. First of all, we have some flash plecos. These are super hardy, awesome little panocs, basically. They're gonna like some veggies. They're gonna wanna chew on some wood, mix their diet up. These guys come out when the food hits the water in droves. Once they settle in, they're not shy. They'll come out and eat like crazy. We have some Dantum angels, which everything I read suggests that they're a cross between Scalaire and Altum. So that's what we put. Seems strange to me that someone would do that, but I read up on the history of that strain, and supposedly that's what they are. So they should turn into, you know, really large looking angelfish if they have any of the Altum blood in them. Then there's another one down here I wanted to show. Oh, we have some Montezuma swordtails. I know we keep running out, but the reason is because we keep waiting for new males to mature out. So they're just to that point, some of them, where they look female, but they're probably going to, some of them are still going to turn male. So every now and then we get to list a few more. So that's what's going on there. If you like wild type swordtails, we have some nice ones. We were finally able to list the pygmy swordtails recently. We got them healthy enough. This is a very unique little species, not one you ever see, Xiphophorus pygmaeus. Not like the most brightly colored swordtail, but one of the smallest, if not the smallest. And just for the uniqueness factor, it's a neat wild type swordtail for those of you that are into the wild type livebearers. There it is. These are babies. These guys breed all the time. We have some Java moss in the aquarium, and the babies hang out in there, and the colony just keeps reproducing. So that's what's going on with the pygmy swordtails, a unique little wild type livebearer. I do want to call attention to this. These are beautiful guppies. They're kind of what got me back into loving guppies because they're so stunning. The group we have right now is pretty, but it's not as good as these. So we have marked them down. Instead of $60 per pair, they're only $39, which is a good deal for these guys. So yeah, and that's why we have this note here, just letting people know that. But yeah, if you like platinum red-tailed Dumbo ear guppies, but are like, you know, oh, $60 a pair is a little rich, you can get them for $20 off. Because they're fine, and you could create a line from them that was awesome. But for instance, well, actually it's not, I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is about them. Yeah, they're just not quite as clean a line, I would say. So discounted price for those. All right, that's some of the stuff going on there. I want to tell you guys though about my trip to Seattle. So I flew out to Seattle this last weekend to speak at the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. I did 2 presentations there. I did one Friday night and I did one on Saturday. And I have to say, I had a blast. That club is put together. Like, things move along there. The meetings are efficient without being like, it's not like military efficiency, right? But they're efficient. Everyone knows the role they have to play. And the venue's awesome for speaking. It's at a university, so it's a lecture hall. So I felt right at home there because that's what I used to do every day. And the technology that they have there is all set up and works great. So they made speaking there really easy. So I want to thank them for being excellent hosts. In fact, I had a lot of excellent hosts there. Thursday night, Candy Overholes, I got to connect back with my good friend Candy. She cooked us dinner. Her her and Kirk and Caleb, and then the Steenfots came over. So I got to catch up with Bob and Chelsea, which was awesome. It's always good to see those folks. So it was just basically a weekend of amazing hospitality. The next day, Friday, went around and visited some fish stores, got some video of that. There's a whole bunch of videos coming out of fish stores and fish rooms that I'm going to share with you guys over the next few weeks, I should say. So that was awesome. And then that evening, I gave a presentation on how to ship fish, did a demonstration with some folks, and hopefully that helps them be more successful shipping fish. I think there's two things we do really poorly as a hobby and even on the industry side. One is transporting fish properly, and the other is fish health, like medication and things. So those are two things that I'm really working on. So this one was on shipping fish. And then the next day, went and saw, I purchased my Ivanacara species, Adoquita bimaculata, from a breeder over there in the Seattle area, and I was able to go and tour that facility. They also do Altum Angels, several varieties of Altum Angels, some really fancy bushy nose plecos, and some other stuff. So I was able to go there and tour the facility, the hatchery, and see where the fish come from. Hatchery, I mean, it's a fish room. And so I'm going to share that video with you guys so you can see when you buy those from us, where they come from, how they're raised, and all that. So that was pretty cool. We had a private tour of the Amazon spheres. So thank you so much for everyone involved in that, including Bree for taking the time to take us around, show us everything, explain everything. That place is gorgeous. A lot of really neat fish there. And if you're into plants, you've died and gone to heaven if you end up there. All kinds of amazing plants that I'd never even heard of before. I mean, I like plants, I just don't know that much about them, but I got quite the education. So that was awesome. So this was Saturday, and then Saturday evening, gave the presentation. Saw a lot of folks there that came to support, so thanks for coming. And after that, went to another hobbyist house and filmed their fish tanks. And then Sunday, I got to hang out with Dean, which was awesome. Master breeder Dean. I felt like I was on a pilgrimage, and it ended with Dean as far as fish breeding goes. That guy's forgotten more about breeding fish than I've ever known, and I know quite a lot about breeding fish, so it was impressive. One of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. What I like about Dean is when Dean gives information, he does it in the form of story. So it's entertaining. There's nothing dry about Dean telling you how to breed a fish. It's all wrapped up in a story. So it's entertaining and educational, and it's pretty awesome. That club over there is so lucky to have that guy. One thing we did with Dean is we did an unboxing video. So before I left, we did a video on here at the Dan's Fish Warehouse showing how we prepare the fish for shipping, package them up, ship them out. And then, so those were sent out on Thursday. And then Friday morning, I forgot to mention this part. So Friday morning, I went to Dean's briefly, and we did an unboxing video of those fish at Dean's house in his fish room. So you get to see the entire thing, both this side and the customer's side, and get Dean's thoughts and feedback on how we ship fish. So that was pretty cool. And then Sunday afternoon, got to hang out with Corey, which was awesome because Corey and I have been corresponding for years, and I've never met him in person before. So it was great to finally meet Corey in person. And I have to tell you, after spending the day with Corey and the night, like we went till 2 a.m. We went hard. But after spending that time with Corey, it's now I'm like, now I know why Corey is who he is. Like, I don't know if I've ever met someone more passionate and super layers deep in exploring, super layers of curiosity about the fish and the business he's in of selling aquarium products and plants and such. Like it's kind of like if you meet a famous person, like, for instance, if you meet Steven Spielberg, after that conversation, you'll be like, now I know why this guy is this guy, right? I kind of had that feeling after I met Corey. I was like, yep, makes total sense that this guy is who he is and is where he is in his business and in his pursuits of that. It just made total sense. So that was awesome to get to know him. And then it didn't end there. I had to fly out on Monday. But before we did, Dean and I went over to visit someone's house who breeds bitterlings. I had never seen a bitterling breeding setup before. Bitterlings lay eggs inside of mussels when they develop and hatch in there, and just the process of how they do that in aquariums was fascinating. Just something that I didn't know anyone was doing. So it was really cool to see a dedicated bitterling breeding setup. So, and then after that, we went to the airport and went home. So that was my trip basically, but every single person there was so hospitable and made me feel so welcome. I ate really well, had a lot of great conversations, got to meet a lot of people that I've never seen person to person before. I only know through the stream or through the internet, and learned a lot. And the other good thing is I spoke with some people, met with some people that might be able to supply us with fish. So one thing I'm always doing when I go on these trips is trying to find more hobbyist breeders that I can source fish from, because hobbyist breeders are the best place to source fish. The fish are healthier generally. And also, I want to support hobbyist breeders. So if you're a hobbyist breeder and you produce more fish than you know what to do with, reach out to us. Let us know what you have. Send us an email at hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. Let us know what you have, how big they are, how many, and the price you want, and we'll see if we can get them from you. Just so you know, we pay 25% of the landed costs. So if you have a fish that you're selling for $1.50, and to get it on my doorstep with shipping and all that, it ends up being $2, and then I need to be able to sell that for $8 to maintain my margins and stay in business. So it doesn't usually make sense if you just got a couple things, because you're gonna be like, what, I got 25 bucks for all this work? But if you're able to breed a lot of fish or have higher value fish, then even with the shipping included and all that, it makes sense. So we're always looking to buy fish from hobbyist breeders. If you're one of those, we want to hear from you. All right, with that, it's kind of the recap of the trip. Oh, the other thing that was really cool is I got to see Alex Williamson again. I haven't seen him for a few years, and for those that don't know, he almost died recently. The man's been through hell. He's been struck by lightning twice, and all kinds of things going on. So it was great to go see him. And geez, Alex, if you're watching, I hope I get to see you again. Every time I see Alex, I'm like, Alex, is this the last time we get to talk? Because that guy just seems to have the worst luck when it comes to things that could kill you. But Alex, it was great to see you. Thanks for showing me your fish. Hope you and Laura are doing really, really well. Happy anniversary. And yeah, I hope I get to see you again. Anyway, with that, let's get to the questions and comments. So if you're new here, the way we do this is I go down and I scroll through the chat, and I take them in order. So if you leave a question or comment in the chat, you don't have to keep repeating it. I literally go to the top and just go down and go in order. But if you want me to see it, put the @ Dan's Fish or hashtag Dan's Fish. And what will happen if you do that is a list will pop up here. There's Dan's Fish, Daniel Velez, Dan Duffy, Dan Brown, Dan Khaki Nurse, right? Pick me if you want the message to go to me, or someone else if you want them to see the message. This is how we highlight messages. Yeah, hard to type. Highlight. Put your message in there after you've selected me from the list. Send it, and it will turn bright yellow. And as I go down the chat, I'm looking for those bright yellow boxes, and that's what I respond to. So if you have a question or a comment, now's the time. Stick it in the chat and make it at Dan's Fish, and I will get to it. Fish Shack has joined the Fishmonger crew. Welcome, you are now a Danio or Daniella, and I appreciate you joining up. Appreciate the transparency regarding the Congo puffer. Looking forward to placing my order when my next breeding project is in stock. Thank you. Hey, Fish Shack, thank you, and thanks for the generous super chat. Always appreciated, never required, but it does, every little bit does help when you're a company trying to stay in business. That's for sure. Dan Brown, I'm curious about the newly listed Dantum Angels. Are they really Altum scalare? Does your supplier vouch for this? So I don't know for sure. I couldn't say one way or the other if they truly are. But from the research I've done, it appears that that's what they claim they are. I've never had them long enough to, like they're about that big right now. So until they're full grown, I'm not going to know for sure. That's just the honest truth. I don't know for sure. Oh, before I get to the questions and comments, I neglected to thank our moderators. Thank you so much. For those that don't know how we do this, we have a couple moderators that are long-term. And then every few months, we switch out what we call, I don't know, temporary moderators. I don't know what to say, but different folks. And we bring in a new crop and they moderate for a couple months. That way, everyone that wants to gets a chance to moderate, but they aren't like, oh man, I'm committed to this for years. It's just something you know to do for fun for a couple months. And I make members moderators just because I think it's a, you know, it's a little, I don't know, feather in their cap to be able to moderate. I just appreciate you guys going the extra mile as usual. I've ordered from you a handful of times and had nothing but great experiences. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Let's see how often that's true for everyone. Let's see. Let's go to the website here. If we go to the website and click About, there are 2,500 reviews, 2,502 to be exact, and 4.95 over 5 is the likelihood that someone is going to be happy with their order from us. And I guess if we extrapolate that to 10, then that's pretty much 99%, which makes sense because we have, you know, just over a 99% success rate. So, so about 99% of the time, people have the experience that Fish Shack just talked about, and I kind of dread it. There are people that have bought hundreds and hundreds of fish from us, and they'll say things like, "I bought 300 fish and never had a problem," and I'm always like, "Oh no." Statistically, there will be a problem eventually, around 1% of the time. So I'm like, is it the next shipment? Is it the next shipment? Like, I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later. In fact, one thing I do when I give this presentation, because we make big claims, we say, you know, that we've got over 99% success and do all this stuff. But every company out there makes big claims and claims to be doing, you know, right by the fish and that they care the most for the fish and that the fish are sure to be healthy when they're shipped and all that. Everybody makes that claim. So something I do when I give these presentations is I say, okay, let's do something. If you don't mind, if you bought a fish from me, please stand up. And they stand up. Okay, if you bought a fish from me and had a DOA or an unhealthy fish, raise your hand. They raise their hands. And then what we do is we tally and we say, okay, how many were unhealthy or DOA? This many. How many did you order? This many. And we go around the room and we figure out what the percentage is. And when I did it in Seattle, there had been 4 DOAs or unhealthy fish that people bought from us out of, I think it was like 504 total. So, so that was pretty cool. So in the Seattle area, we're well over 99% success rate getting, you know, good healthy fish to people. So it's just something I do to actually demonstrate that what I'm saying is true in the real world. Because it could happen that I say that, and like if 49% of the people have massive losses, right, then I'm a liar, basically. Then I'm like every company that says, we care for the fish and we know how to get them healthy and we pack carefully and we hand select your, all that stuff that everyone says. So yeah. Huck, hey, thanks for being a member for 5 months. Hail the Fishmonger crew. Huck, thanks for being a Danny-O or Daniela. Crown Tail says hello. Well, hello, Crown Tail Half Moon. It's been a little while. Man, Crown Tail Half Moon's been here for years. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope all is well. New friend says, my 8-year-old wants you to know we got a red betta and named it after our long deceased red betta, Mr. Fish. Yeah, that's exactly right for an 8-year-old. That sounds exactly like what an 8-year-old should do. Why are there 2 member tiers? Rez, because back when we first started the memberships, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. And, oh, what was it? There was a reason. We started, I think, at the lower tier. And then there was some limitation on that. So we had to up it by like just 50 cents or something. So that it was a minimum of like, I don't remember. There was a reason though. We started a membership group, and then due to how YouTube does things, we're like, oh, we should have done this one. And so we started the one we should have started, but we didn't want to kick everyone out that had already joined up at the other tier. I mean, we knew pretty quickly, but we didn't want to do that to those members. So there's 2 tiers, but everyone gets the same benefits. Whenever I do anything for the members, I just click all members. And yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I should go clean that up. But if I get rid of a tier, then that means whoever's in there is like unmembered, I think. So yeah, we just didn't know what we were doing when we first set them up. What am I saying? We still don't know what we're doing. Leo 209 Aquatics, when you getting more dwarf chain loaches? As soon as I can. I have ordered those several times over the last couple months. No joy. They haven't shown up. So I'll keep trying. There are 2 places I can get them where they come in healthy and they aren't super expensive. There's many other places I can get them where they come in healthy and they are super expensive. Like to the point where I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. But so I'm just waiting for one of those 2 suppliers to actually send them to me. I order them frequently, just don't have any. Okay, Javier Taino. Any tips on getting finicky discus to eat? Well, couple. One is frozen bloodworms. They'll generally go for that. Another is, it might help to raise the temperature. I don't know what temperature you have, but you could raise it up to 84, 85 degrees. And apart from that, it could be, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could be that they have some kind of internal parasite that's preventing them from wanting to eat. So those are the things that I would explore if I had a discus that was finicky. Well, something else that can happen with discus, if you have some discus and say you have 3 and 2 of them are just harassing the third one, the odd one out, then with all the harassment, that one might stop eating. That happens. Cole Irwin, what size group and tank do you recommend for toothpick fish? Plus, will you be restocking them soon? I've been planning on getting some. So with toothpick fish, I honestly don't think it matters what size group you get. I like them in a big group because they're tiny and they're kind of cryptid. They'll like blend in with things. So I like a decent sized group, so I'm sure to like see them. And as far as size of tank, I mean, if you had a gallon jar that you could keep all the parameters good in the gallon jar, nice and steady for that toothpick fish, and there were things in there for it to explore, hardscape, wood and that, maybe some plants, something like that, I think it would be fine. These are slow. They don't swim unless they're trying to like get away from something really. They kind of slowly, because they look like a floating twig. So they float around the tank as if they're just this slow little floating twig. And what they're doing is they're exploring all the surfaces in that tank, looking for little micro prey, I guess, to pick off the things, the rocks and the wood and the plants and such. So they don't need a lot of swimming space. They just need a lot of area to explore. So you can do that with hardscape. So, I mean, they can go in lots of size tanks. Anything from like a 1 gallon, could it be totally stable, on up. And you could do 1 or you could do 200, depending on the size tank. Not 200 in a 1 gallon aquarium, that's not what I'm saying. But they do fine solitary, they do fine in big groups. I think it's totally up to you. Very flexible fish. Doesn't need to school with a bunch of its own kind, but also is not aggressive, so can be kept with others of its own kind without any problem. Fish for Life 333. Are your dark rams fully black fish? So I want to run over there and check for you. Maybe I'll do that in just a second. We got a batch in, and they were black as black can be. So we're like, awesome. So we got another batch in from the same person. And they weren't as black, but maybe they've colored up, and I've been out of town. So if everybody wouldn't mind some bad television for half a second. I think I know which tank they're in. It's 1 row over. So I'm going to walk over there and see if I can tell you how black they are now that they've had time to settle in and all that. Aren't they right over here? Oh, maybe I got it wrong. I don't see them. Darn it. Oh yeah, here they are. They're pretty black, but they're not as black as the other group. So they're definitely black. They're obviously the right genotype. But the other ones were black, like all down through the belly and everything. These, let's see if I can find a picture and show you. See if I can find. Okay. So the other ones we got were black as black can be. These ones have kind of look more like this. There's some kind of silver on the belly like this one has. Darker than this though, for sure. Can I find the right picture? There, that's fairly good. They're pretty dark across the top, and then they have kind of a silver on the belly here. Whereas the other ones we got looked like this. They were just black throughout. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back to, here it is. Rez, thanks for joining up. Welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Brian, working and lurking. Heck yeah, Brian. Some of us is busy. We got to work while we lurk. Just want to say, hey, I need more tanks so I can order more fish. Ain't that the truth? That's just like, yeah, you know, there's a few things in life that are just true all the time in every part of the world. That's one of them. Shelly Gagnon, welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Hey, Shelly, thanks for joining up. Appreciate you becoming a member. Fish Lady, how often does spiderwood need to be replaced? I don't use spiderwood, so I don't know. I did find out something kind of neat, though, while I was in Seattle. I went to a fish store. They had a ton of spiderwood, and I found out that it is a root system. I believe it was the mulberry bush. If I remember right, that spiderwood is the root structure of the mulberry bush. Or was it a different plant? Oh, now I can't remember which plant it was. Maybe it wasn't a mulberry. But anyway, it's roots. Yeah, I'm thinking mulberry is wrong. Azaleas? Maybe it was azaleas. That sounds better, but obviously I'm an unreliable source. I know it's roots. I can't remember which plant. I think azaleas. Geraniums? Maybe it was geraniums. I don't know. Have you ever found a good supplier of autosynclus? I'm having trouble finding healthy ones. Yes, I have one supplier I trust for autosynclus because I also have trouble finding healthy ones. But there is one supplier that has consistently healthy autosynclus and has for years. And I buy my autos from them. Now, sometimes we run out because this is not a supplier that has tons of fish we need. So I generally only order from them once every month or two when I run out of enough fish to be able to place another import with them. But I hope to have, oh, and sometimes they don't have them. Sometimes I order them and they just short them because they don't have any. So I hope within 3 weeks, I hope to have another batch of healthy autosynclus available. Now, that isn't all in my control, but I hope to have some here within, let's see, it's 3 weeks. It'd be a little longer. I hope to have some here within the next couple weeks, and then there would be a couple weeks of quarantine after that. But yeah, I've got one supplier that does a really, really good job with them. And everyone else, horrible. Horrible, horrible. Ladino White, my sparkling gouramis have been busy. I've only had them for 3 weeks and already have fry. And boy, do they click. I love them. Oh, that's awesome, Ladina. That's great to hear. Congratulations on the little ones. How fun is that? Just Joe, will black worm in my shrimp tank be an issue? Excuse me. I was feeding live ones to ember tetras in that tank, and I guess some survived. No, that won't be an issue. I've kept blackworms with Caridina and Neocaridina type shrimp before, and had a good colony of both in that tank. So no, I don't think that's a problem. How have you done with pencil fish in neutral or alkaline water? Great. Every pencil fish, okay, let's show you some awesome pencil fish. We have some really nice ones right now. These, and this picture does not do this fish justice at all. This turns bright, bright, brilliant sports car red. There you go. That's a little better. These guys we're keeping in extremely hard water. It's 300 parts per million calcium carbonate, which is like off the charts hard. And the pH is 8.3, 8.4. So all these beautiful pencil fish, these are another really awesome one, are being kept in very hard alkaline water here. And guess what? They color up brilliantly. And they do great. So yes, pencil fish in hard alkaline water, in my experience, has not been any kind of problem whatsoever. Ariel C has also joined the club. Hey, welcome Ariel C. Everyone's joining up tonight. We usually don't have that many new members unless someone gives away memberships. So thanks everybody. It's raining memberships. Hallelujah, it's rain. Anyway. I'm a grown man. Am I allowed to have Cher pop in my head? Grace Doyle, do you have a laser heat gun recommendation? We keep buying ones that break. Much appreciated. Well, to help you, I'm going to have to make some more bad television, but I know exactly where these are. This will take half a second. Let me show you. I'm going to go grab one of the ones that we use and show you what it is and the brand and all that so that you can maybe get one that works better. So I'm bringing it back over now. We've had these for years, and I don't know, we've got like 8 or so of them. I think in that time, maybe one has malfunctioned. Usually you just replace the battery here. That's where the battery is, and they're fine. E-Tech City Laser Grip 749 is the brand. Can you see that? I think we just got them on Amazon. I don't know, they weren't super expensive. If I remember right, they were like 12 bucks. Few years ago, so you know that was before COVID. Maybe they're expensive now, but yeah, that's the ones that we use. Now, I'm not a connoisseur of laser heat guns, so I have no idea if there's better ones out there, but that's the one we use, and it's worked fine for years and years, so yeah. All right, with that, Jonathan says, hey Dan, are there any cichlids that would pair well with snakeskin barbs in a 29? If so, how many? Yeah, I think that rams would do that. I think that apistogramma would do that. I think that tiny acara would do that. Pelvicachromis, Wallaceachromis type species. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that would be a problem. And how many? That's up to you. Like, I don't want to be like a dogmatic person that says, this fish, you can only have one in this size tank, and if you don't do that, you're an evil person. I don't think that's right. I think in a 29, you could definitely get a pair of cichlids in there. There's some species of cichlids, you can get several, like little checkerboard cichlids, you could have a whole bunch in there. So it just depends on how it's set up. Are there a bunch of little nooks and crannies and caves and, you know, plants and rocks and all that? Or is it a bare tank? Well, if it's a bare tank, you might not be able to get very many cichlids in there because it's going to be one big territory. Whereas if you have it divided up with lots of hardscape and little hidey holes and stuff, you could get a fair number in there because there's plenty of territories and little places for them to claim. So it's really about how it's set up. So I don't want to tell you the how many thing because there's too many variables to know how many is right for you, but definitely there's lots of cichlids that could go with snakeskin barbs. Fish Shack. In your experience, does green water or paramecium produce noticeably better results with small fry than golden pearls? It depends on the fry, but if I could choose between green water, paramecium, or golden pearls, I would choose paramecium, hands down, easy. It moves around, so there's a lot of baby fish that really key into movement and will go for that. It follows light, so if you need it to stay at the top, you just put a light up there and the paramecium will want to go to the top. It's living, so it doesn't foul the water if it's not eaten like golden pearls would. Yeah, I think paramecium wins. Although there's some fish that you can raise with 5 to 50 micron golden pearls. Rainbow fish babies, they like to hug the surface, and I've raised a lot of them on fine powdered foods, at least for the first couple days. But I think I would have had better success if I used paramecium or rotifers or something like that. How hard, says Linda, is it to get flag acara? Let's make sure we're talking about the same thing before I answer that. There's a lot of cichlids that have flag in the name. Okay, you're talking about Curviceps. So you're talking about these guys, I would imagine. They're not super difficult to get, but we haven't brought any Laeticaras in for a while because they just don't sell for us. I love them. Speaking of another one that could go with the barbs in the previous question, with snakeskin barbs, this is another one that could, the Laeticara species. So I think they're fantastic, but when we bring them in, they tend to sit and not sell. So they're not difficult to get, but they don't make sense for me as a business to bring in very often at all because they don't move. Michael Lawson gifted 5 Dancefish memberships. Killer Kitty did 5, and Jody P gifted 10. That is 20 new memberships gifted in the last few minutes. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for doing that. That's super generous. It's one of the best ways to support us. A percentage of those people that just received a free membership will see the value in it, or maybe not, maybe just want to support us even if there is no value, and you know, we'll retain them, and over time it grows, every little bit grows into this, you know, chunk of recurring revenue, which is helpful. Now there are a couple benefits to members, just so you know. The giveaways in the live stream, if you're a member, you're 4 times as likely to win as just someone off the street, so there's that perk. When we release videos, we release them, excuse me, you get access to the videos before anyone else. And where that's really helpful is when we do videos of the fish that are just being listed for sale. We'll post an unboxing video or a tour showing you the fish that are being listed for sale that day. You'll get that before anyone else, so you'll have a better chance to see what's available and see if you really want it and get a little head start on purchasing fish. And that matters in some cases. There are some fish that when we get in, they sell out like that. There's some high demand fish that we can't get very often and can't get very many of, and that people, there's a long waiting list for them. Well, we don't do a waiting list. There's a long wish list for them. There's a lot of people that want them. So that can be helpful. And as we move forward and I am able to step out of operations a little more and have the time to do more for the members as we go forward, I plan to do that. One thing I'd really like to do, although the coding might be difficult, is when new fish are listed for sale on the website, especially if we've been out of them for a while, that the members have access to them for, I don't know, 12 hours or 24 hours or something before they're released to the general public. That would be an amazing benefit for members, because again, we get a lot of rare stuff that can sell out very, very quickly. So I want to give the members a chance to get that. Just as a way to say thanks, right? To make the membership be worth something other than just you're nice and you want to support us. That's amazing. We thank you for that. But we want to get back to, and hopefully I'll have time to do that. I don't know when, but every hire we make, it gets a little closer to that goal. Merb 31st. My order arrived perfect and the golden mollies look amazing. Oh, I know, those mollies are awesome. These fancy golden mollies, I assume that's what we're talking about. If I could spell molly, I could show you. So these are awesome. They're doing really well. And we also have these. They're a fancier strain, an iridescent, really nice high quality strain of golden molly. So whichever one you got, you won. I mean, they're both pretty darn awesome. Troy, not to be outdone, has jumped on the gifting train and gifted 5 Dancefish memberships. Troy Miller, thank you. Thank you. You're a scholar. You're a scholar, Troy. Adam says, any tips on breeding dwarf plecos? I have L280s and cannot find caves small enough. Yeah, I bet you can't. So this, I believe, is the spiny pleco. If I have my L numbers straight. Dwarf spiny pleco. Yeah, these tiny little guys. Super, super small little fish. What do they top out at? Is it 2.5 inches, something like that? Just these itty bitties. You might, in order to breed them, you might have to make your own cave. Or find a piece of driftwood or something that has a bunch of little nooks and crannies in it that they could spawn in. Or take a bunch of river rocks or something and make a pile of those in the corner where they can select their own cave or something like that. But I think you're going to have to make your own somehow. I mean, they're itty bitty. Jeff Rowe, how do you typically price wild-caught fish that doesn't really have a good price yet? Well, we know the margin we have to make to stay in business. So if I bought a fish from you, Jeff Rowe, and my total cost to get it to me was $2, I would sell that fish for $8. So that's a 4x markup, 4-time markup. So I don't know how you do your business, what your markup needs to be so you can stay in business. But that's how we do it. We're just like, hey, what's the minimum we could sell this fish for, and remain in business and take care of our employees and do right by everybody. Well, that's the decision. The business model will make it clear what you have to do. Now, there are some exceptions to this. So the more expensive a fish is, the less we tend to mark it up. Because with expensive fish, you don't have to mark up so many times to have made a profit on the fish. Although it can bite you, because if you have a problem with that group of fish, it kills your margin just as much if you didn't mark it up like you do everything else. But typically, less expensive fish are marked up more, and more expensive fish are marked up somewhat less. So every business plan demands a different scale there, but it just depends on your expenses. Jag Trader, do you ever get Pseudomugo mellis? We do. In fact, until last week or the week before last, we had some available for sale. We don't have any more available now, but I do hope to bring some in. Yeah. I think we've had 3 or 4 groups of mellis in the last year and a half that we've been able to bring in. They're not available very often. Would you keep Pangeo Myers Eye with Pangeo Coolie? Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem. I mean, I doubt that most people that keep coolie loaches, that's what Pangeo are for people that want to know. Most people that keep them aren't, doing a big breeding project, so hybridization is not really a fear. And I think as far as getting along together, I think they get along just fine. I wouldn't have any reservations about that. If you get coolie loaches, though, the more the merrier. Like, get a nice big group. They like being together. Tyler Woodhouse, do you plan on bringing Discus in the future? Maybe. I do think about it frequently. So if we were to expand our building here, then it might be possible for me to set up a rack for Discus. So, oh, excuse me. Really tired, didn't get a lot of sleep during the trip, and just got back late Monday night. Had to come in and take care of some things after I got back in Monday night. And I'm just old enough that I haven't quite recovered fully yet. I'm still tired. I'm happy to be here though. Tired but happy. That's how I describe myself most of the time. So Tyler, there's a chance I might do that, but I would want to figure out how to do it with an automated flow-through system. So it'd probably be something like that rack, the water would go through its own separate on-demand heater or something like that. I'm not quite sure how it would work. But yeah, I do think about that frequently. Kyle Gibbs, do you know when you will have your more Stiphodon Anniae? I have one from you, but would love more. I have ordered Stiphodon Anniae every week for the last 6 or 8 weeks, and they have not shown up. So I'm going to keep trying, but I don't know when they're going to show up. Lush and Salty. I love that name. Morbidly curious, what fish do you have the least success in terms of care in store and or shipping? Let's see here. Fish that have been difficult to find good sources of and get steady would be black Venezuelan cories. For a long time, we didn't have any success with those. Oh, I'll tell you the one right now. For some reason, threadfin rainbow fish. I can't for the life of me find a good place to get threadfin rainbow fish from. One of my favorite fish of all time, one I would like to keep in stock always. Oh, it's just an amazing fish. But yeah, I've tried, I've given up. I've tried all the suppliers multiple times. We've tried different ways to treat them and medicate them and land them. And at this point, I'm like, I just can't sacrifice any more little fishies to that effort. So I'm going to wait a while, and then I'll probably try again, after some time. So this happened with clown killies a while ago. For the life of me, I could not do clown killies. And then I let it sit for a while, probably a year or two, and then tried again and was like, hey, found someone that did clown killies well. So yeah, I don't know when I can do threadfin rainbows again, but I really want to. one of my favorite all-time fish. They're like absolutely stunning little hummingbirds. Mountain Life. Welcome to the Fishmonger Crew. Hey, Little Mountain, thanks for joining up. Snake Oil has also joined up. Look at the dude. It is raining memberships. It seriously is tonight. Thanks everybody for joining up. Varanid Guy. Hey, Monitor Man. Hope you're doing well. Haven't heard from you in a bit. Your shipments always go wonderfully for me, even during summertime in Arizona. Those Rick's Orange Venezuelan Cories I got from you are absolutely fantastic. Hope they will spawn sometime. Oh, they will. So the Orange Venezuelan Cory is not much more difficult to spawn than like your standard old-fashioned Corridors Aeneas. They're pretty easy. So I think you're going to get babies out of them. Glad they're doing well. And Arizona in the summer. Yeah, I couldn't do it, but I hope you're living your best life out there. Tim Fletcher, I'm new to modern fish hobby. I'm fascinated with nanofish. Can you make your description show the adult fish sizes? We kind of do. So let me show you where I'm at with that. So not every description does. Because I haven't had time to update the descriptions in way too long. But there are some of the descriptions that say, hey, when they're shipped to you, for example, these Praecox rainbows, they're shipped at 1 inch and the max size is around 2.5 to 3 inches. I just need to find the time to go through and update the rest of the descriptions. So for a while I was doing that. Then things got busy, and now I haven't done it for over a year with any kind of consistency. So yes, that's something I want to do. It just takes time, Tim, and it's a priority for me. I just don't know when I can get to it because there's other fires that are burning hotter, I guess. But it's difficult. One thing I'm trying really hard to do is get to the website to make sure every listing has a picture. That's probably priority number 1 for the listings on the website. And I would like to get video of the fish connected as well. But before that, I don't know if that's priority number 2 or if descriptions is. One of those two. So something I need to do for sure. Well, some fish we just don't know. Some fish there's not good consistent thought or information about what their final form will be when it comes to size. So there are some fish we won't be able to, but most fish we can give you an idea of the final size. Gilly Foreman, I don't want to be dismembered. Yeah, that sounds horrific. We have this and making you talk. How big do Laeticara get? Well, there's several different species, so it depends, but the biggest ones, I don't know, 4 inches maybe on the biggest ones, if I'm thinking right. Let's see here, Laeticara. Yeah, I think the Fulvipinus, I think I've seen these at 3 to 4 inches. Let's see if the internet agrees. See what the internet thinks. Huh, why did that not cut and paste? Okay. Laeticara fulvipinus, how big do you get? Seriously Fish thinks that they get... Do they say? 7.5 centimeters, 7.5 cm, 2 inches. 3 inches is what they say. I think we've got some that are a little bigger than 3 inches. So this is the part of the problem with listing maximum sizes, is that what the internet says a max size is isn't always what a max size is. I've sometimes definitely had fish that have gotten bigger than what the reliable sources on the internet say they should grow to. So I'm going to say 3 to 4 inches for Laeticara. Michael Lawson will not accept thanks, says, no, thank you, Dan, for being the best online seller. Well, you're welcome. And believe it or not, I'm not trying to be the best. What I'm trying to do is set an example in the hope that other sellers, that I'm not the best. I want other sellers to up their game so that the industry at large is improved, so that fish that come into this industry don't suffer so much. That's really what I'm trying to do. And customers that get the fish will have lasting success and not get out of the hobby. Yeah, I used to keep fish, but they all died. Like, how many times have we heard that from someone? Like, if we can curb that, this hobby would be like, imagine if everyone, okay, so we've had like next day transportation available and really good materials for packing and all that since, what, the 80s, something like that? Let's say it's the 90s when I got in the game. If during that time, all the people that started an aquarium but got unhealthy fish, the fish died, and so they got frustrated and left the hobby, had instead got healthy fish and they had thrived, imagine how much bigger the aquarium fish industry would be. It would be massive, because so many people that get into this hobby get out because they get unhealthy fish and they don't do well. Now, some of them get out, have a bad experience because they never took the time to learn how to keep an aquarium, right? They don't know the basics of the nitrogen cycle and that stuff. But a lot of them, no matter how good an aquarist they are, get fish. In fact, we all do this. There are people in the stream that are absolute expert aquarists and have the frustrating challenge still sometimes where they get fish and no matter what they do, the fish don't do well just because they're unhealthy. So it's not their fault. They're master aquarists. But if the stock isn't healthy, there's only so much you can do. So of all those people that have had that experience where they got unhealthy fish and because of that lost the fish, whether they knew why or not, had success and stayed in the hobby, we would be massive. And when there is, with that would come more R&D because there'd be more resources, because it'd be a bigger market and all that, and just it would have snowballed into a lot more progress a lot more quickly. So that didn't happen. Well, we need to make it happen. It's got to start sometime. So I guess now, right? So the idea isn't to be the best. The idea is to show a way to do it that's successful in the hopes that others will also do it that way, so that it's a kinder, gentler aquarium industry and hobby for the fish and for the customers. That's the idea. Mountaintop! Hey, hope you're doing well, Matthew. I happened across some red devil tetras. We'll be growing them out and attempting to spawn those eventually. Awesome. That's another one I would love to do. By the way, we got the Musil reds recently, the red cherries. Shrimp, tetra, Musil, I think. Did I say that right? Wow, why are the results in like low depth? Musil with a Z. Okay, this guy right here, these are awesome. So we have some of these in stock right now. First time ever having them, and they're young and they're brown. They're pretty brown. They look kind of like this, maybe even not that colorful, because they're small. They don't have their color yet. So I was like, man, I have no idea what these are going to look like. But while I was in Seattle, I visited Aquarium Zen, and I saw something like this. Absolutely bright, stunning red tetras. I keep wanting to call them shrimp because cherry, right? Red cherry shrimp. No, these are tetras. So is anyone else showing that? I mean, it's head on, but that's a very red one there too. So I talked with the owner of that store, with Steve, and he said, yeah, once they grow up into full-size adults, they get really, really red. So that was good to know. That gave me hope. Because when I got them, they're pretty expensive. When I got them, I was like, yeah, they're kind of brown. Hopefully they color up nice. And seeing them in aquariums, then I was like, oh, that's what they're gonna look like. All right, totally worth the wait. Absolutely stunning. Stunning fish. See, if I didn't, I think I already, yeah, I did. I welcomed Little Mountain Life and Snake Oil into the Fishmonger crew, yeah. Can you tell us about the Kogel tetras on your website? Not really, because they're brand new to me. So these are the yellow Kogel tetra. All I can tell you is that so far they seem to be healthy and hardy. But brand new tetra that I've never seen in person ever until I got them. So I don't know much about them. All I know is they're new, and that's it. To me, they look like kind of like a gold tetra because they're so iridescent. But yeah, they're still not full grown yet. So I literally don't know much about them. They haven't died. They're eating well. They're doing well. They seem to be hardy. It's about all I know. They're just brand spanking new. Do you think you'll get the platinum lyre-tail mollies again? Yeah, I would. I would for sure. They're not available very often. I only have one breeder for those. But yes. I'm unable to give memberships tonight. Who knows why? Huh, I don't know why. Let's see here. Nope, you're not in timeout. Yeah, no idea, Kelly Foreman. It's the thought that counts, Kelly. I mean, the gift helps too. Yeah, YouTube's just wigging out, I guess. I don't know. For me, here's my big trick. Here's what all I know with fixing computers. I turn it off and I turn it back on, and sometimes that miraculously fixes things. But yeah, I don't know. Victoria Artis, linking YouTube memberships with a perk on your website is perhaps something you can talk to Corey about. Oh, we did. I talked to him about it this weekend. I think the co-op kind of pioneered that. Maybe he can share the solution somehow. Yeah. I'll definitely be picking Corey's brain more about that when we're ready. Are you headed to Fishtoberfest? I wish, Snoochie Booch, but I was literally already away from the business this month, and I can't get away again that quick. So I'm not going to Fishtoberfest. I wish I was. I spoke at the inaugural Fishtoberfest fest, and I loved it. And I have friends there, and I would like to go see them and hang out and stuff, but it's not going to happen this time. I generally don't go to events unless I'm speaking or otherwise involved like that. Not at this point in my business's, I don't know, life cycle. Zen Cory Cats. I bought 6 little pseudomugil furcatus from you a couple weeks ago. These little fish are amazing. They are young, but I can tell I have 2 males and 4 females. Thank you, Dan and Co. Oh yeah, I call them the cheerleader fish. For those that don't know, pseudomugil furcata, or the forktail blue-eye rainbow, is this. And I call them the cheerleader rainbow fish because their pectoral fins here are tipped with bright yellow, and they wave them around constantly like a cheerleader with pom-poms. So like this. Here's a good picture. See how that guy's holding them up like that? They do that all the time. They're always going like this. By the way, Dean has the biggest, beautiful male furcata that I've ever seen. The thing was 2 inches. Absolutely stunning fish there. Yeah, furcata are one of my favorite. That's the first pseudomugil I ever had like real good success spawning and raising. And when I did it, I started them immediately on baby brine shrimp, and they ate that right away and were no problem to raise. They were really easy for me. Okay, chat just jumped. Let me scroll up here and see if I can find the chats. I was a cataloging librarian for years. I'll volunteer to update descriptions of fish. Zen Cory Cats, would you send me an email, hello@dansfish.com? You might regret ever making that offer. But I've been struggling to get to it forever. So if that's something you're interested in, I might take you up on that. Here's my big fear when involving the community is I don't want to create a situation where, let's say Zen Cory Cats is all excited about doing descriptions for us. And I'm excited to have them do it. And then they do some descriptions and I'm like, these are horrible. I can't use this at all. And I have to have that conversation with them. I don't want to have that conversation. Like if I have an employee, I can have that conversation because I'm paying them and there's, you know, it just makes more sense with an employee to do that. And it's the only way that you get everyone on the same page. You have to have some hard conversations with employees sometimes. But, you know, if you're not a jerk about it and it's about the mission and what we're trying to do to get there, then, you know, then that's fine. But with a member of the community that's just volunteering their time and being, you know, sweet enough, kind enough to help out, and I'm like, yeah, I can't use that, I'm sorry. That's a rough moment to have with someone. So that's what my kind of hesitancy is. So yeah, because I can't put up descriptions that I don't agree with or that I don't think represent the company well. So given that caveat, Zen Cory Cats, if you're interested, yeah, send us an email, hello@dansfish.com, hello@dansfish.com. And I think, I haven't thought deeply about this, but maybe the correct thing to do is show you some descriptions we've written that I think are good, some parameters that we want in there, some sources that we think are, you know, decent for getting that stuff, and then just have you write like 2 or 3 of them and see if we're on the same page and go from there. So you don't do like, you know, I did 50 of them, here they are, and all that work, and me just be like, oh, I can't use these. I mean, that'd be horrible. So, but I think I'm game to try because I need help. I haven't been able to get to it for months and months and months. So, Anna Banana, any chance you'll have honey gouramis in anytime soon? I'm working on it. So here's the problem with gouramis. Honey gouramis, dwarf gouramis, pearl gouramis, is they pretty much all have iridovirus. Think of it like the gourami herpes, basically. It's not exactly, but you know, it's a way to think about it. So I have not brought that kind of stuff in for a long time because I don't want to sell fish that I know have iridovirus. But I think I found a supplier that doesn't have them. We brought in some pearl gouramis. Now it might be 2 months ago, maybe a little more. And in all that time, they've shown no signs of iridovirus. So a couple weeks ago, that long ago? A week ago, I guess, I brought in some dwarf gouramis from the same supplier. And I don't think I've looked at them since I left for Seattle. But, so we'll have to see. If they don't show any signs of iridovirus for a couple months, then maybe this is a supplier I can start getting this kind of stuff from. So I'm just trying to see if they're iridovirus free. And ultimately what I need to do is send them to the lab. I know I've been saying that for like 3 weeks, and I shouldn't have said it because now everyone's waiting for me to do it. And it's not the hottest fire that I have to put out right now. But what I want to do is send them to a laboratory, ask them to test for iridovirus, and if the test comes back negative, then we'll start selling them, and we'll sell them as like certified iridovirus free. Now they're going to be pretty expensive because, first of all, the breeder is more expensive than almost all my sources. No, they're the most expensive source I have for aquarium fish. And then the laboratory is going to charge me a pretty penny. And so they're going to be more expensive, but they will be certified by a laboratory to be iridovirus free. So that's what I need to get to. It's just there's a lot of other stuff too that I have to get to, and sometimes I have to pick my battles. Like, what can I actually get done today? Well, today, what I did was I got all the prices together. So Johnny lists our inventory. And in order to do that, he needs to know what the price of everything is. In order to know the price of everything, I have to put it through this formula. I input my expenses and it outputs my price. And so it takes all the expenses into consideration and then says, this is what you have to sell this fish for if you don't want to go out of business. And so that's what we do. So I spent most of the day putting a bunch of fish through that process and figuring out what everything should be priced so that Johnny is empowered to do his job. The one thing I don't want to do as a leader is be the guy that's preventing other people from doing their jobs. I want to help them do their jobs. So that was a big part of today. There were also some meetings with some different teams to figure out how to streamline some stuff. We're learning a ton about the diagnostics and treatment and how to do that while still managing the inventory. And so we're making changes frequently now as we learn more and more as we go through more of that process. So there were some meetings today figuring out how to best implement some changes to make that run more smoothly. Went and bought some new aquariums for our experimental racks. So we are constructing a rack of 30 40-gallon breeder aquariums. And these 30 tanks are just going to be for testing, for experiments. So we'll be able to take a bag of fish, divide it over a few tanks, and try different medication combos and see which one treats them better. We'll be able to do different water parameters, really hard alkaline water, really soft water, and see if that has an effect on the efficacy of the medications. We'll be able to land fish in different water parameters without medications and see if they do better in one type of water than another. We'll be able to do all kinds of experiments so we can actually get data and move forward intelligently instead of doing what we all do up to this point, which is, well, people say this, so I'm just going to go with it. There is so much misinformation out there, so many old wives' tales, so to speak, so much lore and myth that is risen to the status of truth in this hobby, but no one can cite the source. No one knows if the study has been done about it. No one knows if it's actually true. It's just something that's passed down and taken as truth because we all like answers. So that's stuff we're working on. What we do really, really well is work with our suppliers to make sure the fish we get are treated humanely. What we also do really, really well is make sure that the fish that are sent to our customers arrive alive and healthy. What we need to work on is learning more about the diagnostics, medication, and husbandry of fish so we can, it's not like we don't know how to take care of fish, it's not that, but we just want to learn as much as we can so when a fish has a disease, we can diagnose it, treat it directly, and know, oh, this combo of medicines works a little better than this combo, or in this species, this medicine works better. In this other species, this other medicine works better, or whatever it is. So we're trying to learn tons of stuff like that. Nearing a new record, Bob Kaler says we're nearing a new record in attendance. There are 469 here. So did we have up around 500 before? I think we've had over 500, right? So maybe it peaked before. Anyway, 477 is not bad. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment and sharing this out to someone that you think would enjoy this stream, we'd like to get more people in here. Or if you don't know someone that would enjoy this stream, share it out to an ex-lover. Let's make it really interesting. Travs, I just set up my first aquarium and proud to say every fish is from you and looking amazing. 24 platinum rummy nose, 6 platies, and a few more shrimp. Glad I found your store and videos. Hey Travs, me too. I'm glad to hear that the tank's doing awesome. Oh, that just butters my biscuit. It doesn't get better than that. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Kurt Brudding, on your website you have Pangeo species Pan 02. Is that a black coolie? Kind of. It's got like a dark upper half and then a light lower half. So the dorsal top half of the fish is pretty dark. Let me see if I can show you a picture that actually represents what I see when I look at them. Yeah. So they have a dark upper half, and then the bottom is this light color. And it's kind of iridescent a little bit. They're so hard to get pictures of. This is the best picture I've been able to get. And something else is they go in and out of these color phases. So sometimes they're kind of an olive color, and sometimes it's very clearly delineated, the difference between the top half and the bottom half of this fish. But they are just about the hardest fish I have to get a good picture of, because they are extraordinarily fast and they never stop swimming if they're out in the open. So I have a rough time getting a good shot. Sid Miller, did you receive any Werneri in your recent day-eye killifish order? My work got a mixed batch and are scared there might be crossbreeds. So I'm not real clear, first of all, on what so they're both day-eye. Werneri is supposedly a subspecies of day-eye. They're both Aplochilus day-eye. One is Aplochilus day-eye Werneri, and one is Aplochilus day-eye without the subspecies designation. But I'm not sure how official that is. That might just be a trade delineation. I'm not sure how firm the designation of the Werneri subspecies is in the scientific literature. Merb, welcome to the Fishmonger crew. Hey, Merb 31st, thanks for joining up, as well as Annie H also joined up. And Kaylor gave me a super chat, which means usually, that it's about time to draw the winner of the $100 gift certificate donated by the extraordinary and very generous, the singular, anonymous donor. Thank you, Anonymous. You know who you are. Let me do one more and then we'll get to that. I made a return to the hobby a few years ago after leaving in the late 90s with far more success thanks to channels like Aquarium Co-op and yours. Oh, that's nice to hear. It's nice to hear that all the efforts to help folks actually sometimes help. Yeah, I think Aquarium Co-op does a good job educating folks. I've watched lots of their videos and lots of their live streams, and I think they do a good job there. Okay, let's get to the giveaway, shall we? So, the giveaway is for a $100 gift certificate to dansfish.com, so you can buy anything. Let's go to this. The moment has passed, but anything on the website. There's so many possibilities. So thank you to the anonymous donor for making that possible. Okay, there are 461 eligible users. Woo, people like gift certificates. 475 concurrent viewers. And the winner is Stephen P. 2003 Aquatics. Stephen, not Stefan. Congratulations. Well, Stephen, you know the rules. You have 2 minutes to chime in. I'm going to set my timer. Okay, timer's ticking. When this timer goes off, time's up. You have 2 minutes to chime in and let us know you're here, because you do have to be present to win. If you don't leave a comment in the chat within 2 minutes to claim your winnings, then it's forfeited and we will draw somebody else. But Stephen already knows all this. Any new rainbow fish? Sorry, I was late to the stream. Towley, we don't have any new rainbow fish. The truth is, the rainbow fish sales have dried up. There's only a few species that sell at all anymore. And man, I used to have, I think at one point I had 60 plus species of rainbow fish. I believe that's true, 60 or more species. And they were really popular. but the hype has kind of moved on, I guess, maybe. And now I only keep a very few species in stock that they sometimes sell consistently. There's some amazing rainbow fish I have that I've had for months and months and just haven't moved, and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely glorious. The Centenniensis, those come from Marcel, and they're a great strain, and they're beautiful, and geez, I can't sell them for the life of me. Walt, can you keep a rainbow shark with blue Glarus killifish? I've never tried it. I never would try it. I think the rainbow shark would probably beat up the blue Glarus and probably shred its fins, but I've never tried it. So I don't know for sure how successful that may or may not be. But from my experience with different, red-tailed sharks and rainbow sharks, and here's the other thing. I think it's the red-tails that are more aggressive than the rainbow sharks, right? I've never got deep into sharks. They've always kind of been a little bit of trouble. So I don't know what to tell you. I have no experience with that. Sid Miller, we have Muzzle Tetras under a Chihiros lighting, and they've been fed krill that grow, they've been fed krill and the cherries. I'm going to start this over. We have tetras under special lighting that are fed krill and they glow, and customers are so sad seeing them when they come in new. Oh yeah, when they come in, they're just brown. Yeah, but if you see them in a tank, just bright red and absolutely stunning, yeah, you're not going to forget that sight. They are, the ones at Aquarium Zen are absolutely stunning. Like from across the room, stunning. Like I looked at those and I was like, oh, is that what they turn into? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I bought those, even though they're just brown right now. Okay. The timer has reached 0, and no way, Steven hasn't. I thought for sure Steven would have chimed in by now. But I don't see. Let me refresh in case there was a mix-up. Yeah, nothing from Steven. Scroll to the bottom, make sure I'm not. Oh, Steven is here. Oh, okay. All right. That's why I checked that other side. Yeah, it did not show up here for some reason. But Steven was in chat. I can see it over here. So congratulations, Steven. If you would send us an email, hello, Nightbot lied to you. Yeah. Yeah. Every now and then, it doesn't, I don't know why, but every now and then Nightbot just doesn't show me what's actually going on. So that's why I check over here when that happens. Steven, you know the drill. Email us your first name, your last name, and your mailing address, and we will, well, actually, we don't need your mailing address. Just email us, and we'll respond and get that gift certificate sent to you. We'll let the anonymous donor know to send it off to you. I really need to sleep. I mean, I get live on camera, and I get camera brain for sure, but it's been a little extra bad today just because I'm so tired. But regardless, I had a great time with you guys. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with me. Thanks to the moderators for being here and keeping the chat running smoothly. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's a member of the channel. The memberships are so much appreciated. Holy cow, look at this. Look how much green there is here. The membership ratio, that is impressive. Thank you so much, everybody that's a member. I didn't realize till just now how many people have actually joined up and become a member. That's crazy. Thank you. I had no idea. Where was I? Oh, if you gifted memberships, thank you. If you threw money at us, thanks for the super chats. If you were active in the chat, thanks for making this a lively discussion. Thanks for participating. If you didn't participate, I still love you. Hail the Lurker Nation. If you're watching on the replay, hello from the past. There's a fly in here. And if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Until then, I really hope you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.